3 weeks before the wedding, Daniel received an email he never expected to scare him. He thought it was just another document about seating charts or final guest lists. Instead, it was a prenuptial agreement sent by his fiancée, Amanda. At first glance, it looked normal, but as he kept reading, something felt deeply wrong. Every line seemed to tilt the power in her favor, giving her control over assets, income, and even future financial decisions. His hands started to shake when he reached a sentence written in small, careful letters at the bottom of the page. It mentioned rights to undisclosed assets and future inheritance. Amanda had never spoken about any inheritance. She had always told him she was struggling financially. She had let him pay for almost everything. In that moment, Daniel realized the woman he was about to marry was hiding a truth big enough to destroy everything. Amanda didn't hesitate when Daniel asked her about the prenuptial agreement. She crossed her arms and told him it was for her own protection. She said she had been hurt before and refused to feel vulnerable again. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were cold. She made it clear that signing the document was not a discussion, but a requirement. If Daniel truly loved her, he would sign it without drama. Daniel tried to explain that he wasn't against a prenup. He only wanted it to be fair. That word alone seemed to irritate her. She accused him of overthinking and trying to control the situation. The conversation quickly turned into an argument. Every time Daniel asked about certain clauses, Amanda brushed it off. She said the complicated language was just legal formality and nothing more. But one section refused to leave Daniel's mind. It mentioned future inheritance and undisclosed financial interests. When he asked her straight out what that meant, she dodged the question. She changed the subject. She laughed like it was a joke. Later that night, Daniel felt uneasy enough to call his childhood friend, Lucas. Lucas was a lawyer who specialized in family and financial law. Daniel emailed him the contract and asked him to read it carefully. They met the next day at a quiet coffee shop. Lucas read every page slowly, without speaking. His expression grew darker with every paragraph. When he finally looked up, he didn't sugarcoat anything. He told Daniel this agreement wasn't designed to protect both sides. It was designed to protect only Amanda. Worse than that, it was designed to prepare for money that clearly wasn't declared. Lucas explained that the language about future inheritance wasn't normal. It was too specific, too careful, like someone who already knew a large amount of money was involved and was trying to secure control in advance. Daniel felt his stomach drop. He thought about all the times Amanda had talked about struggling, the stories she told him about debt, the way she let him pay for rent, vacations, and expensive dinners without hesitation. None of it felt real anymore. Lucas warned him not to confront her too aggressively yet. He told Daniel to stay calm and act normal. He said he wanted time to quietly investigate what was really going on. Daniel agreed, even though it felt like poison sitting in his chest. That night, Amanda acted like nothing had happened. She laughed. She planned honeymoon locations. She spoke about their future house and children. Daniel smiled back at her. But inside, he felt like he was sitting across the table from a stranger. And for the first time since he had proposed, he wondered if this wedding should ever happen at all. Lucas didn't waste any time after their meeting. He started by quietly pulling public records and financial filings connected to Amanda's name. At first, everything looked clean. There were no obvious red flags. No luxury properties listed. No massive bank accounts in her name. But Lucas knew that people who hide money rarely do it directly. He dug deeper. He searched linked business entities and shell companies. That's when he found something strange. A newly formed real estate company registered only months ago. The listed owner was a middleman, but the paperwork showed unusual patterns. phone numbers that matched Amanda's old contacts, addresses that lined up with places she had claimed to visit for work. Lucas followed the trail further. He discovered a large, quiet bank transfer. The number made his jaw tighten. 1.3 million euros. It had been moved into an account tied to the company. The transfer date was 8 months ago. 8 months of silence. 8 months of pretending. While Daniel had been paying for groceries, gas, trips, and rent, Amanda had been sitting on a fortune. Lucas kept going. Property records revealed 2 luxury apartments purchased under the company's name. One was near the city center. The other was in a high-end coastal area. Both had been bought in cash. No loans. No mortgages. Straight cash. Everything was hidden behind paperwork designed to confuse and delay. When Daniel heard the truth, he couldn't speak. His mind kept replaying moments from their relationship. The times Amanda talked about being stressed over money. The nights she cried about feeling insecure and scared of the future. The way she had leaned on him, like he was her only safety net. All of it was a performance. Worse, she had built a lifestyle behind his back. Lucas also found documents showing Amanda had quietly registered a small consulting firm. It had no real public activity. No website. No advertising. But it had a bank account that moved large amounts of money in small, careful pieces. The pattern was deliberate, designed not to trigger alarms, designed to stay invisible. Lucas explained that this wasn't just lying. This was strategic. This was a plan that took time, effort, and intelligence. Someone had helped her. Someone had taught her what to do. Daniel felt betrayed in a way he didn't know was possible. He hadn't just been lied to. He had been used. Every dinner he paid for. Every trip he surprised her with. Every sacrifice he made. It all felt like fuel for her double life. That night, he sat alone in his car. He didn't want to go inside the apartment they shared. He didn't want to look at her. He didn't want to hear her voice. For the first time in his life, he understood what it meant to feel empty while still breathing. And deep down, he knew that whatever came next would change everything. Daniel didn't explode when he learned the truth. He didn't scream or throw things. He became quiet, calm in a way that scared even himself. He met Lucas again and told him he didn't want revenge. He wanted fairness. He wanted the truth to come out without him losing control. Together, they drafted a new prenuptial agreement. This one was simple, balanced, clear. It required both parties to fully disclose every asset, company, account, and property. There were no tricks, no traps, just transparency. When Daniel handed the new document to Amanda, her smile disappeared. Her eyes scanned the pages too quickly. Her fingers tightened around the paper. She asked him who had put him up to this. She accused him of being paranoid. She said he was trying to humiliate her. Daniel kept his voice steady. He told her that if they were going to spend their lives together, there couldn't be secrets. Silence filled the room. It was heavy, dangerous. Then she snapped. She threw the papers onto the floor. She said the wedding was off. She said she would never marry someone who didn't trust her. She told him he had ruined everything. But Daniel noticed something important. She never denied what he was implying. She never said she didn't have hidden assets. She never explained the strange clauses in the original contract. She just ran. Within hours, she called vendors and started canceling everything. She told friends and family that Daniel had changed, that he had become controlling, that he was obsessed with money and power. The truth didn't matter to her anymore. Only the narrative. Daniel didn't chase her. He packed his things slowly. Every object felt heavier than it should. Photos, gifts, little memories that now felt like lies. Lucas stayed close during those days. He reminded Daniel that control didn't always look loud. Sometimes it looked like someone calmly walking away from chaos. As the invitations were quietly withdrawn and the venue was notified, fragments of the truth started to crack through. A few mutual friends noticed things that didn't add up. The expensive bags Amanda claimed were borrowed. The luxury trips she said were sponsored. The quiet flashes of wealth she could never quite explain. Daniel didn't celebrate. He didn't feel victorious. He felt hollow. He had loved her. He had planned a future with her. And now he realized he had been building that future on a foundation made of secrets. Late one night, Amanda showed up unexpectedly. Her eyes were red. Her voice was softer. For a moment, it looked like she might confess. But she didn't. She asked him to apologize. She asked him to admit he overreacted. Daniel didn't raise his voice. He didn't insult her. He simply said he couldn't marry someone who lived a different life in the shadows. She left without another word. And in that quiet moment, Daniel understood that the real battle had only just begun. The first attack didn't come in private. It came online. Daniel woke up to dozens of notifications. Messages from friends. Comments from strangers. Amanda had posted a long story on social media. She painted herself as a victim. She said the man she loved had turned into someone cold and controlling. She claimed he tried to trap her with legal documents and financial threats. She didn't use his full name. She didn't need to. Everyone knew. The post spread faster than Daniel could understand. People he had never met weighed in. Some called him manipulative. Some called him dangerous. Some told Amanda how brave she was. Daniel felt the old instinct to stay silent, to avoid drama, to let it blow over. But Lucas told him silence would be seen as guilt. So Daniel did something he never imagined he would do. He responded. He didn't argue. He didn't insult her. He simply posted the original prenuptial agreement she had sent him. Every page. Every clause. He covered private contact information. He left the language untouched. He let the document speak for itself. Within hours, the tone of the internet changed. People started reading. They noticed how one-sided it was. They noticed the strange references to undisclosed assets. They noticed how little protection Daniel had. Screenshots began circulating. Legal professionals started commenting publicly. They called the agreement predatory. They called it a setup. The story flipped. A former friend of Amanda's stepped forward. She claimed that Amanda had once bragged about having a financial plan no one knew about. She said Amanda talked about never letting a man touch her real money. That comment went viral. Daniel stayed quiet. He let the facts move for him. Amanda tried to post again. She claimed the document was manipulated. She said context was missing. But this time, people questioned her. They asked direct questions. They demanded clarity. She gave none. Brands quietly stopped working with her. People unfollowed. Comments turned cold. The narrative she built started to collapse. Daniel felt something strange. Not joy. Not satisfaction. Relief. For the first time, he wasn't crazy. He wasn't imagining things. He wasn't the villain in her story. He was just a man who had trusted the wrong person. Lucas warned him not to engage further. He told him this was no longer about emotions. This was about evidence. About staying clean. About letting the truth exist without decoration. Daniel followed that advice. He logged out. He focused on sleep. On breathing. On surviving. And somewhere behind the screens, behind the posts, behind the fake smiles and filters, Amanda realized something she never expected. She was losing control of the story she worked so hard to create. It didn't take long for the pressure to move from the internet to real life. Daniel received a phone call from a number he didn't recognize. The voice on the other end was calm. Too calm. It was a lawyer representing Amanda's family. He said they wanted to resolve things quietly. He suggested a private meeting. A conversation. Daniel agreed, but only if Lucas was present. They met in a private conference room at a downtown office building. The lawyer spoke slowly, choosing every word carefully. He said misunderstandings had happened. He said emotions had been high. Then he slid a folder across the table. Inside was an offer. Money. A significant amount. Along with a document. A non-disclosure agreement. Sign it. Take the money. Stay silent forever. Daniel didn't touch the folder. Lucas asked one question. Why? The lawyer hesitated. That pause said everything. After the meeting, Lucas started digging in a new direction. He obtained a copy of the will connected to Amanda's inheritance. Hidden deep inside the language was a moral clause. If the heir was found guilty of fraud, deception, or financial manipulation, the future inheritance would be revoked permanently. That changed everything. Amanda wasn't just lying for convenience. She was gambling. She was trying to control perception while protecting access to even more money. Her family knew this. That's why they were rushing. That's why they were offering money instead of truth. When Daniel learned about the clause, he finally understood the scale of the situation. This wasn't about a bad relationship. This was a legal time bomb. If evidence surfaced showing fraud, the consequences would destroy not only Amanda, but her family's future. Behind closed doors, their tone changed. The offers became more polite. Legal threats started appearing in subtle ways. Letters, emails, warnings dressed as advice. But Lucas stayed calm. He made it clear they were preparing their own case. Not to go public, but to protect Daniel. That leverage was enough. Eventually, a quiet agreement was reached. They would part ways peacefully on paper. No lawsuits. No statements from either side. Everything would look civil. Normal. Mature. But the truth sat heavily in the background. Amanda never apologized. She never admitted anything. She simply disappeared from Daniel's daily life like smoke. Her family withdrew. The lawyers stopped calling. The pressure faded. On the surface, everything looked calm. Daniel signed the final documents with a steady hand. He didn't feel proud. He didn't feel victorious. He felt tired. He realized that sometimes peace doesn't come from justice. It comes from walking away while you still can. But somewhere inside, he knew this story wasn't really over yet. Not completely. Something went wrong while generating the response. If this issue persists, please contact us through our help center at help. OpenI, com, th letter 1EDL letter 1EA1I. The collapse didn't happen all at once. It came quietly, and then all at once. Accounts were frozen. Properties were locked. Lawyers stopped smiling. Investigations moved forward without warning. Amanda's father faced charges that could not be avoided. Her family name appeared in headlines they could no longer control. The money that once felt untouchable became evidence. Amanda watched her world shrink from luxury to uncertainty. The future she thought was secured disappeared piece by piece. She stood at the edge of consequences, with nowhere left to hide. Meanwhile, Daniel walked away without looking back. He didn't celebrate. He didn't feel hatred. He felt calm. For the first time in months, he could breathe without questioning reality. He moved into a small, quiet place. He rebuilt simple routines. Morning coffee. Evening walks. Peaceful silence. He didn't need revenge. He didn't need explanations anymore. He had something more valuable. Clarity. Trust in himself. And one lesson that would stay with him for the rest of his life. Always check the truth before you give someone your heart.